Good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
And even on a rainy day, I still shine. Chuckalicious Chuck Williams.
And right now we're joined by Major Sam Winkler. The U.S. Army recently unveiled First Steps, a campaign inspiring young Americans to take that first step to be all you can be as a soldier. Major Winkler is a shining example of where your first steps can take you in the U.S. Army. With other parents in the Army, she helped lead a grassroots effort to transform how the Army supports families, and that's always a big deal. Major Winkler joins us today to talk about the campaign and her career accomplishments. A young lady from the great state of Texas. Welcome to the show, Major Winkler. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for taking time out for us. Go right ahead, Chuck.
Major Winkler, just how is the Army affecting the young people to go ahead and come on and join us and hey, don't worry about a thing. Putting it in the family perspective, how is that affecting that issue?
Yeah, sure. So what we're asking young people to do is just take a chance on us. Think about us, that it could be a real opportunity and a great experience. So we're asking young people to, think about what a life of service could mean and to take a first step towards joining us. And maybe that, it becomes your next step. So we're just simply asking young people to give us a chance.
Major, you have led an interesting path to your Army career and achieved some pretty prestigious things along the way. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I joined the Army at 17, actually in Fort Worth, Texas. I am a first-generation American. I was born and raised in Nepal, but I'm a Texan now. And I was at a college recruiting fair, and I saw a recruiter who looked a lot like me, right? A young female of color and someone short. So I'm really short. And I didn't even realize that service was an option for me. And so I took a chance. I joined the Army. I was a paralegal specialist. I did that for a couple of years. And, through all the great programs that the Army has, I took advantage of a program called Green to Gold. And I went to college and I commissioned as a second lieutenant. And I've been serving ever since. I actually just hit my 17th year of service. And it's been a really great run.
Thank you so much for your service. Go ahead, Chuck.
Major, we're talking here about changes in what we're expecting out of our young people. But I'm also looking at the Army's addressing things whoever thought about it. Parenthood, pregnancy, and postpartum. How is that working out across the board?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So a couple of years ago, when I was in the Pentagon, I was given this incredible opportunity to go around the Army and talk to our soldiers. And one of the things I realized is that we had a real policy gap when it came to what being a parent meant in the Army. So I went to a Facebook group called the Army Mom Life, and I got more feedback about just some policy gaps that we had. And a group of us got together, we wrote a paper, and we turned it into Army senior leaders. And they really listened. And last year, the Army published a really comprehensive update to what it means to be a parent in the Army. And we made some really great changes that I'm proud of. The Army is our people. And one of the things that we truly believe is that you shouldn't have to choose between being a parent and being a soldier in the Army.
That's surprising, and people might be surprised to learn that just a group of parents in the military could drive such a dramatic change.
Right.
We get a lot of ideas. People have ideas of what the military is, what service is. What are some of the other surprising things people would learn about today's Army that would shock them?
I think everybody kind of realizes that the Army is just made up of Americans, right? We're just Americans who chose to wear a uniform. But I think sometimes what we forget is that we're also just regular people. I'm a mom who I love to cook and shop, and I love to hang out with my girlfriends. And, in my day-to-day life, I love skincare and makeup. And I think sometimes we just forget that we are just regular people who also, some of us just do regular jobs, but we serve our country and, take care of soldiers. We have incredible medical providers and, people who work in the cyber field, or someone like me who does resources and takes care of our soldiers through a human resources platform. So think sometimes people forget that we're all service members who are just a part of America.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed that I guess we've stepped back into time with slogans like "Be all that you can be." It seems like the old has come to the new, and it seems to be very effective to me. How effective is it?
That's something that I genuinely couldn't tell you, but I do think it's a great slogan because the Army is somewhere that you can be all you can be, right? You just have to take that chance and jump in and see what you're capable of and just experience things that you never thought you'd get to experience. So I do think it's a really great campaign that accurately describes what service is.
Military service can put strains on relationships. They can put strains on families. There's sometimes cases of separation. You have to go to the field. You have to go to different duty stations. How important is it that those family members, those spouses, sometimes two members, the husband and wife, are both in service together? How important is it that the Army creates an atmosphere that puts families first, that makes sure that parenting is one of the key priorities of their soldiers?
That's a great question. I think the Army has done that through this directive, while recognizing that we do have a unique set of challenges the civilian world doesn't have. That our mission is to protect and defend the United States of America, and sometimes that does require going to the field, going to combat. I think what we've done though is kind of made not accommodations, but really thought about how you can do both. And an example is, when I had kids, you deployed as soon as you had kids and you came back from 6 weeks of leave. Now we allow the parent, if they're both serving, to be with their child for at least that first year. And we believe that taking care of families is important while balancing what we do and what we do for the country. So I think, we recognize the challenges, but we've made a lot of policy updates. We really are leading the charge on to make things better for our families.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Major, I'm going to give you the opportunity before we go real quick. You speak to a specific demographic, and I know some people think, well, especially young people say, well, that's not for me. I can't,
Right.
all the stuff it might be. Young ladies may say, well, there's no place for me here in this military. I don't want to be. Tell young people out there what has been so enriching and rewarding for you to serve your country, and why is it such a noble and great career?
Wow, thank you. That's a good question. For me, it's been the people, right? The people you get to meet, and the people you get to be surrounded by, and the friends you get to make, and leaders you get to look up to. I think for me, it's just being able to be around people who don't always necessarily look like me or think like me or act like me, but we're all here for a common goal, and that's to take care of each other, take care of each other's families. And I truly enjoy being part of something just bigger than me. But the people is why I stay.
Major Winkler has started this new program, The First Steps, campaign inspiring young Americans to take that first step, be all you can be, with a special emphasis on where families have a place in the United States military. If you need more information, go to goarmy.com. This segment has been brought to you by the U.S. Army. Major Winkler, thank you so much for your service to our country and your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Anytime, and go Army, beat Navy. You know the rules.
That's right. Army beat Navy.
That's it. Have a great day, Major. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you.